Thank you very much for coming to our city, first of all. I know everything was just peachy keen downtown, but I'd like to invite you to come out to where many of us live, and many of us who are of my hue. And you will see a different New Orleans, but you will see one that's struggling, where the people who live here are absolutely determined to come back. And we are doing a lot of it without any help from the government. And the majority of our help has been self-help and nonprofits and faith-based organizations that I really don't think we could have survived without the help that we got from the nonprofits. We all know that the nonprofits right now are suffering thanks to Madoff. Many of us, he made off with our money, and the money of a lot of the foundations that support us, but we are still here, and we will continue to stand. I just have to tell you, this work is getting harder and harder. And speaking from a woman's point of view, if you could see my nails, I haven't even been able to get to this nail shop. You know, and some of us with our hair and our nails, those are two important things, one or the other or both. And I'm almost embarrassed, but this work has gotten so intense that I find that I'm not even interested in getting my nails done. You know, that's a change over these 40 years. It's really very, very hard work at this particular time in our lives. Working as an environmental justice advocate and scholar, and with all of the writing that I've done, I never thought the work could get harder. I never thought that I would see racism just appears just so vivid and without unabashed racism, I guess you'd call it. I never thought I would see that when people would say things like, oh my God, we certainly should not let those poor people move back to the lower ninth ward. Why would anybody want to go back there? Why should we waste our money, you know, or waste the government's money rebuilding areas that really need to go back to wetland? But you know, I've been on this earth 61 years, and I have yet to hear someone say everybody in San Francisco needs to pack up and move now. You know, because San Francisco is going to go. You know, I don't hear people saying Arizona, Phoenix, and all these places should just, you know, they're deserts. Yeah. And you're changing desert, you know, to land where people live, robbing the water table from other states. But nobody says, let's shut down Arizona. The only place Florida. Yeah. Hurricanes and storms every year, the playground of the Northeast, the Gulf Coast. But you never hear them say, oh my God, let's just shut down Florida. Let's shut it down. Florida Keys, let's get rid of it because it needs to go back to nature. The only place that was said was in the city of New Orleans. Loud voices from all over, from Congress to our good environmentalists who love trees more than what they love me. You know, we're all saying, this is crazy, let's not spend our money redoing New Orleans, a place where African Americans have been for a long time, and we're looking for the very first time at inherited lands. I now own property. I own 5 houses in the city of New Orleans, all because of my grandparents and my parents. Many of us own land. We've been here a long time. All of it went under. And we're told to walk away from what our parents and grandparents worked so hard for under the worst conditions imaginable to make certain that we would have a future, because wealth in this country, as you know, for most of us, is in our homes. It's in land. And so while these people are making these statements about how we should just walk away, you know, none of them are thinking about what we are losing, African Americans are losing, after a very long and hard struggle without any equality in place. My father worked a day job, a night job, and a weekend job. The only day he did not work was Sunday, because he had to go to church. He was Deacon Bates. You know, that's where his status came from in the community, in the church. And so I am not going to turn my back on what he worked so hard. He believed that inheritance was the way out for our people. And he died at 64 years old, mostly from overwork, to make certain that his children and grandchildren would have that little piece of land that some people now have decided is worthless and not worth fighting for. You know, but I think we surprised them. We absolutely surprised them. They could not believe the tenacity of people who live in this city, black people who live here, which surprised me. You know, New Orleans is older than the United States. We have been here all that time. So what would make them think we would not be connected to this land? Something about somebody for some reason thought that it would be easy for us to walk away from our homes, our churches, our communities, our schools. It was not, it is not, and we shall not. And I tell people all the time, what happened in the city of New Orleans, for the most part, was man-made, not God-made, man-made. Man-made with the destruction of the wetlands. Man-made with building the Mississippi River Gulf outlet, which brought surge to us 80 miles sooner than what it would have. You know, and man-made with the neglect of the levees. The hurricanes are natural, but what happened to us was not natural. There was nothing natural about what happened to us. And we've been told to suck it up and move, you know, or we're going to really, really protect uptown. You know, we're going to get, most of the money is going uptown. We want to shorten the footprint. Isn't that what they said? A smaller footprint. But it was amazing to see that the only footprint that was being made smaller was where black people live. You know, everything else was expanding, the cost of housing going up through the roof. I have a girlfriend who has an old house uptown. She can hardly afford to stay there because of the taxes. You know, because somebody very wealthy bought a lot next door, tore down the old house, put up a $450,000 house next door to her. So now she's in trouble. And so now we're also in the process of possibly losing what land we have uptown because of the cost of property and taxes going up. I need to get to my presentation. I feel like an old Baptist preacher this morning. I'm a little angry. I'm just a little bit angry. It comes over me every now and then. And working so hard with Monique, who is a wonderful young ally to have. And I keep telling her she has to have more energy than me. It takes me a few minutes to look a little younger than what I really am in the morning sometimes. But having younger people around is really very important, because this is a long struggle, a very, very long struggle, and we need you there for the long haul. And as we all know, I believe, is that when there is a famine, the last person standing shall be a woman. You know that.
Really?
In every country, if there is a famine, the last person standing will be a woman.
Yeah.
And that's because we carry fat in our hips and in our thighs and in our breasts, places that men don't, and it sustains us. So when you're angry about those big hips and thighs, just remember that. If there's a famine, you might be the last woman standing. See, now some people want to start eating right now. It's all that fat that will keep us eating. Okay, Mother Nature knew what she was doing. I was a bit hard-pressed